Elon Musk is betting tens of billions of dollars that his companies can manufacture state-of-the-art semiconductors from the ground up, right in Texas. He calls the project TeraFab. It's a proposed joint venture between Tesla and SpaceX to build a massive domestic factory producing advanced 2-nanometer chips. 2 nanometer refers to the microscopic size of the transistors. At this scale, more processing power can be packed into smaller, more efficient packages. Musk intends for these chips to process the dense sensor data required for autonomous robotaxis, orbital space systems, and the internal logic of Tesla bots. This chart compares standard corporate facility investments against the $30 to $45 billion capital investment analysts project for the TeraFab. The planned location for this megafactory is Austin, positioned directly adjacent to Tesla's existing Texas gigafactory and corporate headquarters. An industrial investment of this magnitude moves the center of gravity for Austin's entire industrial and residential development corridor. With $45 billion in development on the table, the central calculation for Austin property owners shifts. How will this specific hub reshape the surrounding landscape? The bullish argument centers on magnitude. A fully operational TeraFab requires thousands of specialized engineering professionals moving into the immediate area, driving up demand for local housing. The counterargument centers on timing. Front-running a massive infrastructure project carries financial danger if the construction timeline stretches years beyond initial projections. Publicly, Musk is pushing an aggressive schedule, even posting on social media that the TeraFab project would launch in 7 days. However, semiconductor industry specialists and financial analysts are skeptical that Musk's track record of engineering success can overcome the physical constraints of modern chip manufacturing. This creates a direct dilemma for buyers. You have to decide whether to acquire property today to secure assets before prices spike, or wait on the sidelines to avoid the carrying costs of a decade-long construction phase. To accurately gauge the real estate timeline, we have to examine the physical constraints of the global supply chain. Producing 2-nanometer chips requires extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. These are complex devices that use specialized light to print microscopic patterns onto silicon. Currently, they are manufactured by exactly one company in the world, ASML. Because Tesla is a brand new entrant in the semiconductor foundry space, they lack established vendor relationships and sit at the very back of the line for this critical hardware. According to industry analysts, new customers face a wait list of at least 2 years before taking delivery of a single machine. That supply chain delay translates directly to the local ground game. The Austin plant cannot physically open its doors or begin hiring its core operational workforce until that equipment arrives and is calibrated. Property investors who purchase housing today, anticipating an immediate wave of high-income renters, will find themselves holding empty units while they wait for European shipping manifests to clear. The backlog at ASML practically guarantees extended vacancy periods and diminished yields for any speculative real estate investments made prematurely. The second major constraint is human capital. The United States currently faces a severe shortage of experienced semiconductor engineers. Operating a facility of this complexity requires decades of very specific, highly technical knowledge. That workforce cannot simply be hired out of the existing Austin labor pool. When the leading chip manufacturer, TSMC, expanded into Arizona, they couldn't find local workers. They were forced to fly engineers from their home facilities in Taiwan to the US for months just to get the plant operational. Tesla will face the exact same hurdle. To run TeraFab, they will have to aggressively import foreign and out-of-state specialists into Central Texas. This specific demographic of high-budget buyers tends to cluster. They will concentrate their housing demand entirely within established premium neighborhoods and top-tier school districts, rather than spreading out evenly across the city. While those specific zip codes see appreciation, the broader influx places strain on Austin's municipal infrastructure, creating upward pressure on property taxes across the entire county. While this talent importation drives up premium property values, it threatens the affordability and stability of existing middle-market homeowners. The final constraint is the technical hubris of the plan itself. Musk's factory design completely defies standard manufacturing norms. Traditionally, the industry separates distinct components. Logic chips, which process information, and memory chips, which store data, are built in completely different facilities with different chemical requirements. Musk intends to combine logic manufacturing, memory manufacturing, and final chip packaging under the roof of a single vertically integrated megaplant in Austin. This flowchart illustrates the problem. Forcing these disparate chemical processes and economic models to converge into a single facility drastically steepens the engineering learning curve. To understand the timeline, we can look at an industry benchmark, Micron's memory fab in Boise, Idaho. Construction on the Boise facility began in late 2022, but the plant is not expected to ship chips until mid-2027. That establishes a 5-year minimum turnaround for a traditional single-focus factory. For Austin developers aggressively buying land and planning subdivisions adjacent to the proposed TeraFab site, that 5-year baseline represents an enormous macroeconomic risk. If Musk's unprecedented attempt at total integration fails or stalls in development, the surrounding speculative real estate market will face an immediate price correction. When we map these engineering realities against the local market, a clear property timeline emerges. This chart plots Austin's economic catalysts. Gigafactory expansions sit in the high-certainty near-term quadrant. TeraFab sits deep in the lower-certainty long-term sector. Because of equipment bottlenecks, talent shortages, and extreme complexity, this factory's economic impact won't physically reach the city for 3 to 5 years. A $45 billion investment is a monumental long-term bullish signal for the city's economy, but it does not offer a short-term real estate flipping opportunity. Your strategy moving forward depends on your capital position and time horizon. If you are a long-term investor, you need to plan for a 7 to 10-year hold. With that horizon, the optimal move is targeting raw land or multifamily zoning, specifically within the Gigafactory corridor right now, while prices remain stabilized by the delayed timeline. If you are a short-term flipper or an everyday homebuyer looking for a quick equity spike, you must exercise caution. Over-leveraging yourself on a property today based purely on the euphoria of a billionaire's social media posts is a fast track to negative cash flow. The only safe way to extract profit from the TeraFab announcement is to ensure your property's carrying costs are strictly aligned with a realistic, delayed manufacturing timeline. Navigating these billion-dollar macroeconomic shifts requires a rigorous, data-driven financial strategy instead of relying on pure speculative guesswork. To build the architecture for a long-term holding strategy, you need local expertise. John McClellan's team provides the financial modeling required for the Austin market. Connect with his team today to ensure your real estate financing perfectly matches the city's true economic outlook. In a market driven by tech billionaires and massive promises, true advantage comes from rigorous timeline analysis, not headline hype.